Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Anybody that's new, welcome. My name's Debbie, I'm the Crafty Shopper. Today we are going to make a Jenga Block football crate along with some jars and maybe a couple other things we can fit into this video too, with the playoffs coming up and the NFL game. Be great for a party. It also could be great for someone that maybe it's decor for a child's football birthday party, or maybe you just want to have, you can customize it maybe to your team. Let me know what your favorite team is in the comments. We're going to start off with the Dollar Tree tumbling tower. I call them Jenga blocks. Box comes with 72 blocks in it. This build is going to be 118. And we're going to use Well Bond. Now, if you don't have, you need to use wood glue. I do not suggest at all using hot glue. When you seal the blocks, they won't seal properly. Then you'll end up picking up little hairs, and it won't last long term, especially if you're going to spend time building it. I always suggest using wood glue. I know a lot of crafters that use the DT wood glue. I've never seen it in my stores here in Canada. But any wood glue, and it's the drying time, make sure you read the instructions on the back. Usually with Well Bond, after an hour or two, you can play around with it. Just gotta watch some of the blocks don't shift. I always try to do my, when I am gluing the blocks, I like to leave them usually overnight, and then it's just a solid build to deal with the next day, as opposed to any moving around or sliding. This video we're gonna be doing flat and stacked. And we're going to be using an L-shaped ruler from Dollar Tree in the hardware section. When I say flat, we're just going to put the blocks flat like that, glue on the side, just like that. And when I say stacked, I mean the wider part where you put the glue, and you're going to just glue them like that. I like using my ruler, so when I do glue sections per sections, and then I can just move it around my table and keep moving them up as I glue them together. I know a lot of people say they can't find the Dollar Tree tumbling tower blocks. They're usually not in the store. You can order them online from Dollar Tree, dollartree.com. Some stores aren't eligible for that, but you can get them shipped to your store for free. Just double check with your store. You can check online. Also, if you want to make friends with the manager, they're usually pretty good at letting you know. I've had one crafter recently reach out to me and ask her manager, and was able to find some in the back for her. They are in the children's section. You can also sign up with the dollartree.com site. Sometimes they do give you 50% off free shipping as well. So we're going to start off with the one side, and it's going to be flat, and you're going to do 23 blocks across, and we're just going to put it like, I'm going to leave it down like this for now. One side, and we're going to do the base. Now, I pre-glue some of my stuff together, so we're not here all day, and this video is not 5 hours long. Now the base is 23. And then glued together with another 23. So we're going to call this the base. We're also going to do one more section, which is 23. Sorry, yeah, 23. Now, when you are gluing the blocks together, and I'm going to say this, I know sometimes it happens to me, and I'm sure you guys all know if you have done any builds before, some blocks, the blocks from Dollar Tree are not always equivalent. Sometimes one's a little bit longer. Sometimes they're uneven. One's a little thicker, a little shorter, as in the width. And I'll give you a good example on the base here. As you see it go along, they're fine. Then they start shifting. And you can see the little spots there that they're more over. So when you are doing, especially for this one, because you want to make sure that it's a nice square, even on both sides when you do glue it, that when you are gluing them together, I would just do 4 rows of 23, just to make sure that they all even out on the sides, because what you're going to do is put some glue, and you're gonna glue it there so it has to be even for both sides. And on the bottom of the top one, exactly there, so you can glue that section there. Now for the sides, instead of doing them flat, I am gonna do them stacked. I want them a little bit thicker on the side. So I have one piece here and it's 13 stacked and it fits perfectly here. Now with me saying that, sometimes the blocks, like I said, are a little bit uneven. So it just depends. So before gluing your pieces together, just double check. Sometimes I find it a little bit better than I did the flat, didn't fit well too much. It was a little bit short. So that's why I went for the stacked option, because I had a little gap open right in the front and I wanted to make sure that it was solid on each side and that I'd be able to glue it properly. Then we'll do another row of stacked, and it's another 13 for the other side. Putting glue here along the base and there. Once I do that, and I do that off camera just because it'll take a little while to do it, we're just gonna leave it overnight, and you're just gonna make sure, reading the drying times, please read your drying time, because a lot of people say, I glued it together and it fell apart. It's probably because you didn't let the drying time fully seal with the blocks. And also too, I had a couple crafters say they painted on. I don't suggest painting. Just if you're going to do like a really thin layer, it's probably not going to hold. So I do suggest just doing, making sure that you actually put enough glue on, but you don't want it sprouting out everywhere. So once that's dried, we'll move on to the next step. All right, I left it overnight. Once I glued it together, I did seal just in the corners here for extra reinforcement with some Well-Bond glue. And the great thing about Well-Bond glue, it does dry clear. So I did the inside. It is very solid, totally dry. We are going to use some white DT paint. I am going to paint the outside all the way around, as well as just the top, not the inside, just the top all the way around as well. So I did the paint around the sides, back, and the top. We are going to go back to the sides. I just wanted to try to get as much wood grain, to see the wood grain out of there as much as you can. So I did 2 good coats on it. Now on the inside, along the ledges on the inside and the bottom, I am just going to use a holiday green from DT and make sure I get a nice good coat that you don't see the grain on the inside. All right, now that I have it painted, it was a lot easier than I thought. When I was painting the inside, I thought I might have to use painter tape. All I did was turn it on an angle and use the brush inside. Now we're going to do the outside, and I'm going to turn it sideways, and we are going to use, I'm going to try putting a napkin on Jenga blocks. So this will be my first time for doing that. So I got this at DT. I got it in the party section. It has all the numbers on it. I did do a trial and error one. I measured out where the exact middle point was, and it was 7 3/4. Going, I just put a little line there, it's really hard to see, and 7 3/4 to this end. So we want to put the 50-yard line in the middle, work our way down that way, and vice versa on the other side. Now if you can't find the napkins, I heard at the Purple Dollar store, in one of the crafting groups said that they had them, and a few others said they did see them at DT. I just recently bought them like 2 weeks ago, and with the tournament coming up, the Super Bowl next month, would be a fun little craft to do. Now I am going to be putting it on with Mod Podge, and I'm going to use the matte one. If you can't find the napkins, you could also paint a little bit more work, but you could just paint it all green and just paint the white lines and the yards as well. You're going to take the back side of the napkin off, and I'm just going to cut it shorter. I think that'll be good. And we're just gonna flip it over onto the top. And I'm gonna cut the other side, the opposite side as well too. You just wanna make sure that you have enough to go over the board. And I'm gonna show you why the outside needs to be white as opposed to painting it green and putting this on. So what I wanna do as the center line is where I am going to put the 50. So there's my little center line, and I'm gonna put it right on like that, and it's gonna hit right there. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take some brush, and it's gonna go over. Sorry, I'm just gonna measure this out. So I wanna make sure the 50-yard line's right there, right where that middle section part is, with over a little bit. So I'm just gonna go over the line a little bit. I wanna make sure I see that line. So it evens out on both sides. I'm going to show you in a second my trial one that I did, and I'm going to say why we did this white. Then I'm just going to line it up right where it's supposed to be. I'm just going to pat it down a bit. And obviously I need a little bit more on the ends here. And it is going to have a little bit of the crinkly look, and that's okay. And I'm just going to put it right make sure it's saturated, and to seal it on, you're going to go all the way down. Now I did a test board, one with, being that it was green, no white paint under, and then one with just the blocks exposed. Ooh, almost messed that one up. Okay. So when I did it originally, this is like my little tester piece. This is with the white paint underneath, so you can see the white is more prominent underneath. And then when you do the back side, I did it without white, so you can see the total difference is why I put the white underneath, so the white goes through when the glue dries, as opposed to having just the wood showing. And then I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to wrap this right around and continue on this side. And then I'm looking at the line here. So this line here is right there. And I'm just going to cut out right along that white line. And I'm going to just overlap that right there and continue down what I did on this side. So now that I just wrapped it around on both sides, it's still drying. We are gonna just fold over. I just cut in each section, and I'm just gonna fold it over right along the edge with some Mod Podge. And then I'm just gonna cut it off to leave the green inside just green. I'm not gonna put it all the way down. I just want it over the lip of the white, cover up the white. So I put it on. I must have messed up once it dried. I must have not had it aligned here. So I did have to go over and paint a little bit of white and just cut out another little piece of white and over. So when you do green over green, you're gonna see the overlapping like that. So on the side, I just Mod Podged it down. Exact same thing on the other side. Now folding the corners, I'm just going to go along here and trim this. And then the little parts that are sticking out, and I'm going to trim it better off camera. I'm just trying to do it fast here. I'm just going to seal that right underneath, just like the other side over here, once you have it done. And then the other side, you're just going to fold and do the exact same thing. But if you overlap it, you can see the green underneath. So I will cut that piece out close to the side just to Mod Podge it down. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And then I'm just going to show you afterwards, we'll do what we're going to do at the ends that has that little spot open. All right, so the other side is done. When I went to flip over the second yard line, it actually ripped, so I just cut it off right at the edge. I just cut out another, I cut out a 0. And what you want to do is when you do glue one on, you want to make sure that you have that little line in between there. And it does go 2, 1, 2, but that's okay. That's just on the side. I'm going to do that, and then we're going to do something on the inside of the box. All right, now that we've finished that part, now if you find this a little bit, it's a little bit of work doing the top part and at the few little boo-boos that I did overlapping, you could, instead of painting it white on top, you could do the same on the inside and just omit putting the napkin along the top. You can just keep it more along the sides. Now I am going to just give it a coat on the bottom. I'm not going to do the sides. I just want to give it a coat of Mod Podge, the matte, just because I'm going to be putting jars in there. And sometimes when you pull out the jar and stuff like that, the paint will stick, especially to glass. So I'm just going to give it a quick coat of the Mod Podge on the bottom. All right, now we're going to do the stuff that we're going to put in the box. Years ago, I think it was about 8 years ago, that before I even started crafting, I guess I kind of did crafting, but I like doing party planning and doing stuff, props and stuff like that for parties. So I did one about 8 years ago. I had a set of 4 of them, don't know where they are, since it's been so long ago. I did it for my son's football birthday party. I got these jars from DT, so you're going to need 4 of them. And you're just going to take the top off, and then you're going to spray paint them. So we're going to start off with the first one. I used Bear Deep Espresso, the premium one. It's just what I had on hand, and it goes on wood, metal, plastic. Now you can use the acrylic paint. The only thing when you paint the jars with the acrylic paint, I would suggest using a coat of Mod Podge once you have put on a couple coats, probably even between coats. I usually don't paint acrylic paint on glass. I prefer the fast option with getting a nice even coat on glass, and I've always liked the spray paint part. So I'm gonna spray paint one of these jars, which I did already. And I want to do a football design on it. So I just, where is it? Oh. So as a football, this is what I'm going to do. Now I have this white eyeliner that I never use. The good thing about is when you use something like this, even you could use a piece of chalk, you could use paint. The good thing about this is if you make a mistake, you could just wash it off lightly and restart your lines, whatever you're going to do. So I am just going to do lines like this, making it look like a football in front with this white eyeliner. So I finished this one here, and I'm just going to put it here. The next jar we are going to do for the box is a black one. I just used some Rust-Oleum satin crayon. And like I said, you can use the acrylic paint as well. I'm going to do the same technique with the eye pencil. And this time I am going to put this design, just writing it down with the eye pencil. So now I'm done this one. We're going to move on to the third jar, and I used Rust-Oleum, and I had gloss meadow green, so they're kind of this one's a little bit more shinier, and that's fine. And we're going to do the same with the eye crayon. I'm going to do 5 lines, and I'm just going to do them sideways like the field, and I will just put the the numbers, the 1 and the 2 on the, after the one in the middle, right on the side. All right, so I finished this one. I got the first down and second down. Took a little bit longer to do the lines all the way around. And for the fourth one, I already spray painted it white, just white satin blossom white from Rust-Oleum. I had these all on hand, so I was lucky. Painter's tape, and you're gonna see where it bends on the top and the bottom that you want to make sure that it's pressed down good. So we're gonna do a jersey, a referee, and you're gonna press it down really good. It's gonna be hard right here with the back, but I think it's gonna turn out. And if not, we can just touch it up with some acrylic paint. And then I'm just gonna go and use the black satin crayon black Rust-Oleum paint again, and this part and the sides will all be black. While the last mason jar is drying, I wanted to put a goal post on the back of the box upright behind the mason jars when it sits in there. So right before I'm finishing my day here, I thought we'd glue one together so I can leave it dry overnight, which especially a thinner little build like that at the back should be left overnight. It's your choice if you want to put it at the back of the box or if you don't want to do one at all, but we'll build one here, 28 blocks, and we're going to start out with doubles, gluing them together. I just think it would just add a little something to it. So you're going to glue 2 blocks like this with another 2, another 2. I'm going to do it sideways so you can see it. But I'm going to face them front when I glue them together. And another 2, so there's 8. Then we are going to do another 2, another 2, another 2, and another 2. So this is another 8. And we're going to put 2 on each side. Another 2. It's not very even, guys, sorry. I'm going to move this one out of the way. And I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit. And another 2 like that. But when you're going to glue it, I just suggest that you turn it upright. You just see less lines in it when we have it positioned instead of seeing all the little cracks in there. When it's glued together, we'll have a little bit better of a view instead of having all the little cracks in between there, and just switch them all over and then glue them in the shape of the gold post. All right, so I have a ball of excuse me, jute rope from DT. I'm just gonna wrap a little bit of the rope around the lip, the inside of the mason jar. I'm just gonna wrap it around a couple times, probably 2-3 times. And I'm just gonna make a little bow in the front. I'll show you what I did one already. Just like that. I did the football, and I did take the tape off. Now, the only thing about the jersey, I wish I did the lines. There was a little bit of bleeding in spots. I guess I didn't press down hard enough. I would suggest trying to find, let me see here. If you're going to use the painter tape, the one I did last time, the tape was a lot thinner. So it was a lot closer, not as big lines, but this one I'll have to do. And the other one I did also, and I'm not going to put on this one, and I'll just show you because I had this on hand, was just a whistle that you could put around around the side as well for the referee that has the whistle. I'm just going to just put the jute rope on all 4 of them. Now, I'm just going to try and just move this out of the way. So with the box here, now that we have it done, and I think it turned out pretty good, this color. It wasn't too bad, the bright yellow. I know that the goalpost doesn't go on the 50-yard line, just in case somebody tells me that in the comments. But that's what we're going to do it. So it's just kind of in the center. But I'm not going to glue it lying down. I'm actually, where the 50-yard line, obviously on the other side's right here. I'm just going to put some Wellbond glue. And I'm just going to glue it right behind the box. And I am just going to put something, probably just even... something heavier. This is not heavier enough, but once you put the glue, it will, I guess, it will stick right to the back of the box. And I'm going to hold it for a bit, and then I'm just going to leave it because I know it's going to just stick upright. But if you feel a little bit more safer, I just want to make sure that it's level. That's the thing. That's why I wouldn't lie it down, which I normally do. And I would just put it on the 50-yard line right there in the center and leave it like that, except it tips a little bit. But I would just want to make sure that it's not longer than the back of the box, and I want as much as I can for this because this box is actually going to hold it up, and it is sturdy, as you can see. It's all about drying time, so please make sure you let your blocks dry, and it will hold if you leave them. And you got to read the box. Now with Wellbond, it's, I'd say, an hour or 2, but if you're going to play around and start maneuvering, filing, sanding, whatever, I would leave them longer. You could always do another craft at another time while one's drying. Just a lot of my crafts are a little bit longer than others. I do them after work, so this is my little projects when I come home from work every day that I put together. But I'm going to get this glued on. I'm going to finish up with the jute rope with that. We're going to put a couple things just inside it, and we're going to do a football. All right, so we're going to do a little football. Gotta have a football when we're making a centerpiece like that. It's going to be 68 blocks. All of them are going to be flat like this, flat, glued flat. We're going to start with 4. We're going to move to 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to go with another 9. We're going to keep them center as we go down. 8. I'm going to go inwards. 7, 6, and 4. We're going to glue that all together, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, now that it's dry, I'm going to take DT nail file. It's just a coarse one you can get in the cosmetic section. Now, all these little extra steps, sometimes I do my thing. You don't have to do them. You could just keep as is and just paint it brown, put the line on for the football, or you can go the little extra step. I like to take the corners off just because they're really pointy, make it more round on the front and the back. And I wouldn't do the one on the bottom just because you want it to sit level. And you want to do that all of the way around on both sides going down. Now that I've done that, this is also optional, and I know some people don't like the little extras, but I always like to just try to manipulate with the blocks, play around. So I'm just going to use spackle. It's just basically hole filler that you patch a little hole. Now I know DT from other crafters have told me that they do sell it in Dollar Tree. I guess it would be in the hardware section. I'm assuming that's where it'd be. I want to fill in the little holes. And what I mean by that, you could do, I like using my knife, and it basically, you're just filling in almost like clay. And I've tried clay before and it was probably not the wrong clay. I prefer this better, but you're just adding the little extras Also too, if you're doing a flat surface, and I'm going to show you in a second. And it's fileable, like you can buff it after, but we're going to do texture. I want to try something new with this one, with the spackle and a texture after. So you just kind of fill the little holes going up on the sides here and there. But also too, when you do some of my builds I had done in the past, because the blocks have that little you know, the little holes in between, and when you do paint it, you can see through there. You can just take this, you don't have to do the sides, you could just make it more smooth here. And it just makes it a lot more smoother. Your paint will go on a lot nicer because it fills in the little holes all over. And once it's dry, mine's pink. I don't know if the one in Dollar Tree is pink. Mine's pink when it's dry. It's white. The only thing I suggest, it would only take a little while if you were just doing the little grooves here and not much on. I find with the deeper pockets that I do, I usually leave them overnight just to be on the safe side. But once again, that's totally up to you. And then you just take a buffer. I wouldn't use the coarse filer. I use more of a fine one. I'm just going to show you one here. I just have some, like this one's a little bit more fine on this side. I do have a finer one. And then you just dust it. Now just make sure that you're in a, it gets a little bit dusty when you are doing it. So maybe in a well-ventilated area and a place that I just go outside and do it. It only takes a couple minutes. So I'm just going to finish off the other sides. So I started filing a little bit and I went over it again, and I just wanted to show you. So it's when it's totally dry, you can see all the little cracks in that. And you just take a buffing block, and it's just a nail file, and you just file it down until you get all the little lines out. I'm going to do the rest outside, but it'll just be more soft in flat surface. And then I'm going to try something new that I normally don't. I haven't tried yet, and it would be kind of cool to do, but I'm just going to get this buffed out, and then we're going to go on to the next step. All right, now that I got it nice and sanded, you could go ahead and paint it brown if you like. I'm going to seal it first with the matte Mod Podge. Give it a good seal of the spackle on it. All right, now that the Mod Podge is dry, I haven't decided if I'm going to do the espresso, the burnt umber. I was going to actually try to put some sand on it for a little bit texture, but I think I'm just going to pass. I think it might look like a chocolate bar or something like that. So I'm going to try the lighter color, and if I think it's too light, I'm going to try the burnt umber. All right, now that it's painted, I'm just going to do the same thing with the eye pencil. Is just the design like that, the front part of the football. All right, so I finished it. I did end up just using the espresso brown. It was a little bit lighter than the burnt umber, and just did the lines on it. You can also paint them on as well. I just found it was a lot easier to control. I'm not the best painter and I just thought it was a lot easier to use the eye pencil. So that's done. You can put a clear coat on it like Mod Podge or a spray. I'm just going to leave it as is. It's a great just little piece to add beside the tray. Now I did want to show you another one that you could add with it. We're going to get back to the field and the field gold post box in a second. I couldn't find the bottles, but I made this one, which represents like the Lombardi trophy. It's just one of those clear vases from DT. It does come in clear, I think like a very light pink and blue, purple. This at the time, I couldn't find the footballs like this one at DT. They're actually just half white and half orange on top or blue. And I just cut in the styrofoam football. You cut it on an angle so the football sits, as you can see it here, not straight on. So you'd have to cut it with an X-Acto knife right into the football. And I just used some hot glue and painted it silver. For birthday parties, you could put names on here. There's many different things you can do with it. I left it plain. And at the time, years ago, I did give one for all the kids that came to my son's birthday party. plus with a goodie bag, but just another nice thing to add for football fans. Now I'm just gonna bring over the tray and we'll continue with that one. So this is what it looks like finished. I think it turned out really well. It is solid on there. I did not put any other glue, which you can put glue on the extra side or hot glue just for extra reinforcement. It's been sitting there for a couple days, so it is solid on there. What you could also do as well, in between the goalposts, you could actually put a picture. If this is a thing that you want to use for a birthday party, you could put them, if they play football, their team, you can just attach it on the sides of the back of the, not on the sides, on the back of the goalpost. Your favorite team, a picture, you can leave it blank as well. Now we're going to do it, I'm going to show you from the top and then we're going to move to the front of it. So on the inside, we're going to get back to the jars. So on the jars, I actually just took the bow off. I just wrapped it around just for a little something. I didn't like the bows. They're all kind of messy and just wanted to leave as is. We're going to just put the football one right there. Now for this jar here, I decided that I didn't want to put the two black and white one with the referee and the black one together. So I'm just going to put it on the side there. I'm going to do the green one next. I'm just going to take these ones out. And then just the referee on that side. So that's the placement I want to have it. And you can do it any way that you like. I will turn the camera around once I put it in there. So as we have that in there, I thought it'd be really neat to put some green into it. So like, well, it's not turf. But just some reindeer moss from Dollar Tree and just sticking it along the edges in between the jars. They're probably gonna, by the looks of it, probably gonna have to use 2 packages of the green, but I just think that would turn out so well and just give it a little extra on the bottom of the tray. Now inside the utensil jars, it really depends on what you want to use. I'm gonna try to go with I'm going to show you 2 different things from DT. So I have the straws, and I just thought that with the straws, this is an 18 pack, same price as the 50 pack of the paper straws from Dollar Tree. And obviously I'm going to use the 50 pack. If you can't find that, you could try to use the 18 pack, and you're just going to stick a bunch. I'm just going to stick a bunch in the first jar. Just with the red and white, I think just will go great with the football. You could even personalize one of the jars to say your team. Maybe you have a napkin from your team that they play. I use these straws for the fake Christmas kind of cake kind of thingamajiggy carousel. I don't know if any of you guys seen that. You can look back on my videos. So we're just gonna put some straws there. The second one, the black one here, I'm just going to show you. This one here, we're just going to put the challenge flag. Now, you can get these red napkins at Dollar Tree. Now, what I did, instead of just folding them over, sticking them in, it's really your choice to add a little something, something. I guess this is where my little party plan days is brought into this craft. The part that comes apart right here, I'm just going to tuck that in, and I'm just going to roll a bunch up to stick in the jar. And this is totally optional. Depends, like I said, what you want to put in the jars. And you just take a piece. You can get some thin jute rope from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to tie it once so it's easy to get off when you grab a napkin. This way it's easier to get the napkins out. And you're just going to have a bunch like that. And you just can cut some of the jute rope off like that and stick it in. I already have a bunch made. I'm just, instead of playing around, I'm just going to kind of show you like that and do that at the end. The green one, what are we going to do? Oh, cutlery. Now, I have a bunch of forks that I have. They look silver, but they're just plastic forks. But you can no longer get those because with all the recycling and plastic being taken out. You can just put whatever cutlery. Now you can switch it out however you want. Just some in another jar. And the fourth jar, the jersey, we're gonna put some penalty flag just because the penalty flag from the referee. I did a bunch of the exact same thing, and I'm gonna turn them upside down so you don't see the right here instead of seeing the bottom part. This one's not so much, but on the red one you can see that the white's showing, so I'm just doing it up that way. And I'm gonna fill the rest. I'm gonna turn the camera around to show you the front view of it. These I thought were super cool. I had to go to Party City. I can't remember what I went for. And they had the foam fingers for the football, and I just really like them. I don't know, I just thought they were really cute. I thought this would be really good to incorporate, especially with this craft. I know you could make one. I'm just gonna try to find, and I had a wood dowel right beside me, and just sticking it in behind the jars of the one on either side, just so it doesn't construct that the goalpost in the back. Let me just fill these jars, turn it around, and I'll show you what it looks like finished. All right, guys, here it is, all finished. As you can see, I put the reindeer moss on the bottom. I think it turned out pretty well. If you guys never need any extra help or anything, or have any questions that you don't want to write on here, please feel free to message me on my Facebook page, The Crafty Shopper. I do have a post up if you're looking up for maybe finding a fellow friend, craft buddy on my page. There is a post. You'll just have to scroll down and find it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Happy crafting. See you soon. Bye.